warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. On Spectrum tonight, why should we have SIM cards registered? How safe will Ugandans be after this exercise? Following the passing of the Regulation of Interception of Communications Act by Parliament in the year 2010, it became apparent that government had legally obtained authority to tap or intercept any form of communication for security purposes. After the law was passed, it was a requirement that all SIM cards be registered within 6 months, but this was not possible due to some technical challenges. The SIM card registration is now being pursued by the Uganda Communications Commission, and now Ugandans are being urged by mobile phone companies to register all SIM cards urgently. Although many Ugandans are responding positively, they are doing so with many questions. Some are concerned about privacy matters, and others demanding explanation on how their details are being kept. Others do not know exactly how relevant and beneficial this exercise is. There are also some who have registered but continue to get messages asking them to register their SIM cards. This group has cross-checked and established that they are not fully registered or even registered at all. Some Ugandans are also wondering why the relevant authorities are not protecting them from mobile phone companies that are overcharging them on even unsolicited messages or packages. The Uganda Communications Commission is also running a campaign to eliminate fake mobile phones from the market and the digital migration campaign. These campaigns need to be explained further to the public, and today we host officials from the Uganda Communications Commission to give the answers. Now, during this interaction, we will also look at the mandate of the Uganda Communications Commission and if at all it is executing this mandate. Our guests tonight, expected guests, Mr. Fred Okot Otunnu, Director of Communications and Consumer Affairs at the Uganda Communications Commission. We expect him to join us shortly. And Miss Amanda Onapito, Public Relations Manager at the same Uganda Communications Commission. I would like us to, as we wait for them, I would like you to send in your questions. You can call in. We'll take your question as soon as they get here. We'll ask them to answer that question. You can also make an observation. Our numbers 0414 348 111 0312 260 390 0312 261 390. I'll read out those numbers again and then I'll guide you into our topic. 0414 348 111 0312 260 390 and 0312 261 390. We're basically examining the SIM card registration exercise. We're asking the question, how safe will you be, you as an individual Ugandan who's registered your SIM card, after this exercise? Some of the concerns that have been raised is that information is going to be stored somewhere. A human rights network group, the Human Rights Network for Journalists, has taken the UCC to court, challenging the legality of this exercise. They say the relevant law has not been passed to provide for the storage of this information, and it's not clear what is going to come out of that legal suit. Other people have complained that the UCC has not done its regulation job well because they get overcharged, or so they say, by telecom companies. They say they receive unsolicited messages and they are charged money, 500 shillings sometimes different amounts. So we're going to be looking at some of those things, but there might be concerns that you would have that you'd like to be passed on to these people, senior officials of the Uganda Communications Commission. We expect them to join us shortly and explain some of these things. Let's let them tell us exactly who they are. Uganda Communications Commission, in the past we didn't have them, now we have them. We'd like them to tell us who they are and what their mandate really is. Spectrum, hello. Good evening, your name?
This is Richard.
Yes, Richard.
When the gentleman came, he could have said for me, I recently visited my free life, but in the whole process, I saw the movement of the commission, such as the commission that's supposed to be the technical of the information technology. How are they going to handle duplicate in Uganda?
Richard. Spectrum, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, your name?
Stefano, my name.
Yes, Stefano.
I have a problem with the Onapito from communication. I want to ask him that how are they going to handle the issues of our crisis because of rejected, but I don't know whether they will keep our details. So, there is a problem of the mobile companies. They keep sending messages that you want money on mobile phone. How are they going to solve that problem? Find out that they connect with some officials to take our money and they have charged the road. So I don't know how they're going to solve that problem.
All right. Thank you, Stefano. Spectrum, hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. Spectrum, hello. Hello. Yes, sir. Your name? Yes, David. Yes, sir. Please do, David. Yes, sir. Please go on. Thank you, David Livingston. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your name?
This is Patrick
Yes, Patrick.
from Bali.
Yes, Patrick in Bali.
Yes. Now, that these people, Uganda Communications Commission responsible for communication. That is now something I send my money on mobile money on someone of the list. And it so happens that I look to the number and it goes to another number. Now, if I'm registered and the other person registered, how come that I recover my money? Because now the situation that when he says the money, the other one switches off and then gets the money and switches off the phone.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. But
I want to know that.
what happens to that money? We'll ask them when they get here. Spectrum, hello. Okay, this is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. Why should we have SIM cards registered? How safe will Ugandans be after this exercise? Our guests are from the Uganda Communications Commission. Mr. Fred Okot Otunnu, Director of Communications and Consumer Affairs, and Miss Amanda Onapito, Public Relations Manager at the Uganda Communications Commission. Spectrum, hello. Yes, sir, your name? Joe. Yes, go on, Joe. Interesting. Spectrum, hello. I read out our numbers again: 0414 348 111, 0312 260390, 0312 261390. Spectrum, hello. Hello. Good evening, sir. Your name? Jacob. Several questions coming through. You can still call in and pose your question. These officials are on their way to the studio. They'll be able to respond to that question. Some of the other questions that have been asked: why do we register the SIM cards at all? In the past, it's not been necessary. There have been arguments forwarded by technical experts. They'll give us those answers when they come. Spectrum, hello. Yes, sir. Your name? Yes, Mr. Chimba. Yes. Okay, several questions coming in. You can still send in your question. These officials are on their way here. They'll be able to answer them. They are from the Uganda Communications Commission. Tonight we're asking on Spectrum, why should we have SIM cards registered? How safe will Ugandans be after this exercise? Spectrum, hello. Yes, sir. Please switch off your radio. Very well. Thanks, how are you, sir? Your name? Can you tell us? Mike, yes. Spectrum, hello. Yes, sir, your name? Good evening, sir, your name? Yes, Mr. Ola. you, Mr. Well. Spectrum, hello. Good evening, your name? David, yes. Spectrum, hello. Alright, well, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight, why should we have SIM cards registered and how safe will Ugandans be? After this exercise, we expect officials from the Uganda Communications Commission, Mr. Fred Otunnu, Director of Communications and Consumer Affairs at the UCC, and Amanda Onapito, PRM. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes?
Yeah, my question is...
Your name, please?
My name is Rose from Okot.
Yes, Rose.
Yeah, in case my phone is stolen and that line is taken, how will this registration help? Because a person on radio has stolen a phone, we make advantage of that phone, the line, and make some funny dirty things with it, and they say it's me.
Okay.
How safe am I?
Alright, that question will be answered by the experts once they walk in. Yeah, good evening, your name? Yes, yes, Moses enough. Thank you, Moses in Nakao. Spectrum, hello. As I was saying, this is Spectrum on Radio. Tonight, why should we have SIM cards registered, and how safe will Ugandans be after this exercise? We're waiting. We're expecting to be joined by officials from the Uganda Communications Commission. That's Mr. Fred Otunnu, Director of Communications and Consumer Affairs at the UCC, and Ms. Amanda Onapito, Public Relations Manager at the same UCC. You can still call in. When they come in, they'll be able to answer your questions. Our numbers: 0414 348 111, 0312 260 390, 0312 261 390. Some of the concerns, as I was saying earlier, the Human Rights Network for Journalists has taken the UCC to court, challenging the legality of what they are doing. It has been said it's an international exercise, and indeed it is. It has been carried out in different countries, in Kenya, in South Africa, in Europe, in the West generally. They say it's about security, securing mobile phones, because sometimes criminals buy a mobile phone, use it, and then throw it away. Once it's registered, then it's secure. It's unlikely you will use your own phone to undertake criminal activities. But there have been concerns that someone might steal another person's mobile phone, use it for criminal activities, and then discard it. Your information could be used to trace you and get you into criminal liability over something that you had nothing to do with. So we expect to ask the Communications Commission to explain to us some of these security concerns. Some more people have also complained about being billed by mobile phone companies for unsolicited messages that I haven't asked for. Some of them are subscriptions to caller tunes, which maybe they haven't asked for, and monies are deducted. There have been people who have also complained about monies being deducted from their phones without any activity at all. We expect these people to talk to us, but we also expect them to talk to us about some of the other things that pertain to this. Mobile phones that are counterfeit mobile phones brought into the country. Some people think they last only 3 months, so they can't be allowed in, and then led to phase out. After 3 months, it breaks down, you have to buy another. And of course, some people have said it doesn't make sense for you to buy a counterfeit phone, because in the end, if you use about 4 counterfeit phones in a year, you might as well buy a genuine one, because the price differential is not high. We'll also ask the UCC what they are doing about the digital TV migration. What exactly does it mean, this digital television migration? What does it mean, moving from the analog to the digital platform? We'll ask them to explain to us those details. You can still call in. Our numbers again: 0414 348 111. Spectrum, hello. Jasper, yes.
Yeah, now if I leave the deadline for the line, and now I want to buy a line on the front road network, will I be able to buy it again?
All right, that question will be answered. This is Spectrum. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be back, and then you will be able to call in and contribute to this discussion as we wait for our guests who are caught up in the traffic on their way to this place. Do stay tuned.
Uganda Communications Commission is currently conducting nationwide mandatory SIM card registration. Register your SIM card in a few easy steps. Visit your telecom operator's customer care center or any other designated registration center and provide your phone number, a copy of a valid ID or any other valid ID with accompanying photograph such as a passport, driver's permit, voter's card, or a letter from your LC. Information on your physical address or residence will also be required. SIM card registration protects mobile phone users from incidences of fraud, incitement, terrorism, and hate messages, among others. Please note that SIM card registration is mandatory, and those who fail to register risk having their SIM cards deactivated. The registration deadline is 1st March 2013. All information shall remain confidential. Let's make communication safe. Register your SIM card today.
There are those who sit around waiting for things to happen. But then there are those who make things happen. Take a closer look. While some people follow trends, there are those who set them. While many people dream of what could be, there are those who make their dreams a reality. While some people make a name for themselves, there are those who also leave a legacy. These people have a unique drive that enables them to make things happen, and they all choose a beer that has a unique ingredient, crystal malt, releasing the richer, full flavor that makes Nile Gold Uganda's true premium lager. Nile Gold, beyond the ordinary.
You are losing your MTN number if you don't register by the 28th of February 2013. They're going to cut it off with Papa, and you'll be there. Contactless, numberless, identityless. Basically, you'll be finished. Do you know what it means when you lose the number you have had for years? The number everyone knows. Kati, if I were you, I would go and register now. The time is up. Go and register now. I said register before the 28th of February 2013. Register now.
Make time now and register your MTN SIM cards before 28th of February 2013. Dial *197# to check your registration status.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Welcome back on Spectrum tonight. Why should we have SIM cards registered, and how safe will Ugandans be after this exercise? Well, we're expecting to be joined by officials from the Uganda Communications Commission, Mr. Otunnu, Director of Communications and Consumer Affairs, Ms. Amanda Onapito, Public Relations Manager at the Uganda Communications Commission. You can still call in and ask questions. These questions will be related to them as they get here. Our number 0414-348-111, 0312-260390, 0312-261390. Several concerns have been raised. Spectrum, hello? Hello? Yes? Hello? You're live on. Hello? Good evening, your name? Yes, Moses. Questions will be. So, Spectrum, hello? Yes, your name? Yes, Lucas.
I am just listening to your program. I just realized once something I read yesterday, sorry. I registered my SIM card, but I'm not sure whether the papers I left with the people, whether they have done their job or not. Whether I'm registered or not, how do I know?
Okay. The issue of confirmation. Normally there's a code that you use to send to the mobile phone provider, and they'll tell you whether they are registered or not. Spectrum, hello. Hello? Yes, your name? Bob, yes? Spectrum, hello? Yes? Yes, William.
I'm just trying to get some clarification. One, if I'm doing all the SIM cards I have for all the service providers, will I maintain this, or there is an arrangement where we have one SIM card that can serve the purpose for all the networks? Number two, these people who registering is going to make them lose their risk. I have a case of my niece who was burned by acid, and people called her, and finally they called acid on her and is body off. Do you think it is fair to have such people continuing such as use this and nothing is done because they are using mobile phones and they want to use their right?
Spectrum, hello? Yes, sir, your name? Yes, Jorgenton. Okay, this is who will explain this question. Spectrum, hello? Hello, please switch off your radio and walk away from it. Hello? Hello? You're tuned into Spectrum on Radio 1. Your name? Yes, your name? Yes, Mr. Oso. Yes, your name? Hello? Yes, sir, your name? Good evening, your name? Yes. Yes. Spectrum, hello. We are joined by we've just been joined by Miss Irene Kagwa, Head of Research at the Uganda Communications Commission. Most welcome, Madam Irene Kagwa.
Thank you very much.
Well, you probably have heard the questions, but I'll guide you through them and give us the answers. What exactly is the UCC and what do you do?
UCC stands for Uganda Communications Commission. We are the regulator of the communications sector. We oversee the development of the telecommunications market, also as well as broadcasting.
And what is this SIM card registration all about?
SIM card registration is all about ensuring that we know who our subscribers are in Uganda. So it entails making sure that we know who owns what number. We put an identity to the number. We know in Uganda most people have our telephone numbers into our identity, but we don't know who is behind those numbers. So SIM card is really about generating the databases so that the operators know who they are serving as our subscribers.
So if I get annoying calls, how do I do it? How do I get a remedy?
I'm glad you raised the issue of annoying calls because these are the kind of things we want to address through SIM card registration. We know people who have been sending, for example, mobile money and you accidentally send the wrong number and it becomes a challenge to track that person because they may just throw away the SIM card. But for example, if you lose your phone and you have to go to the police to swear an affidavit to be able to prove that the phone is yours, the number was yours, to be able to go back to the operator and claim it, with SIM card registration, then it becomes a lot easier for you to track down, for example, who's sending you those disturbing messages, because then upon a police order, the operator is able to release that information and say, yes, the number belongs to so and so.
All right, let's see if some of the callers they mentioned. Richard said one of the weaknesses of UCC, you have these paper-based systems, and different, providers have different systems. At UTL, you don't need a photograph; they'll take your photo there and then. Other people need a paper-based photograph. Why this discrepancy?
It really goes to the systems that the operators have put in place. There were given minimum requirements to capture your image, of course, in terms of photography, as well as your bio details. But one operator may have decided to go through ICT and invest in actual electronic equipment to be able to capture your identity, record your details, and send them there and then. While another may prefer to actually go through the paper system and have your photo image as well as recording you on paper before they actually feel like they have recorded your information to enter it into the system. So it really depends on how the operator has decided to implement the requirements of getting your image and your details.
So how do I register? I walk to my provider and ask them, and it's free. Do you pay for it?
No,
And when is the deadline for registration?
The deadline for registration is the 28th of February. For those who have registered, all they have to do to check whether their registration has been complete is press star 197 hash and check. You should be able to know whether your details have been captured accurately or if, for example, if you get a wrong message, please contact your provider and follow up and make sure that by the 28th of February you're fully registered.
So that's 1 week left. How many people have registered?
We actually have a substantial number of people. I don't have the figures with me at the moment, so I can't give you an accurate figure. But countrywide, we've been having a serious campaign, especially this month, and we've been informed that a significant number of persons have registered.
So suppose not all the people have registered. Will you extend the deadline or what?
At the moment, I would say no, but we are meeting on the 28th with the operators, and at that time we will review and see the status of the registration. It is not our intention that we want to disappoint or encumber our customers, our subscribers, but we also need to ensure that we complete this process and do it well.
And what happens if I don't register by the 28th?
By the 28th after the 28th of February,
Yeah.
those who have not registered are supposed to be deactivated. So you will no longer be able to use your SIM card, and subsequently that number can be given to somebody else.
So if I wake up on March the 1st, I can still go back and register the number even though you had deactivated it.
It depends on how much period is given after that, because you might find that come such February you have been put in the trial that is now ready to give out. So we don't want to run the risk of finding such February and someone walk up to buy a SIM card and they want to send your number.
How about the
Example you want to take.
How about the modem numbers? So, well, let's get that clearly first of all. If you wake up the following day, it's been disconnected and you move very fast, you might get it back. If you stay long, you might find that the number's been given away.
That's true. So it is actually better that you don't have to wait until the 1st of March. You better make sure that by close of midnight of the 28th you're registered.
How about the SIM card on our modems, the internet modems?
Yes.
What do we do with those? And the landlines, internet modems and the landlines. What do we do about? Do we register those as well or what?
Traditionally, if you recall in the past when we used to have the UPTC and then later the UTL, our landlines were always registered. So for most people you find that their landlines are actually already registered. And then you don't have to go through, it would be the issue of updating your record. Because unlike the mobile system, for the landline, you are normally located to a certain position. But with the wireless system coming in place, you will just pick up the terminal and move to a place. So for those that are considered similar to the SIM card system, those are also being registered.
And we will keep all this information that you're collecting, millions of people.
Each operator is collecting the information that of their subscribers.
And what if the government wants to access that information? What happens?
The law is clear about the procedure that government and other parties are also supposed to follow to be able to access any of that information. So there are provisions such as getting a court order. You don't simply just walk over to the operator and say, I want this information.
It does.
It's very clear in terms of a process that has to be followed to be able to get that information.
Suppose the providers recorded my information badly. Maybe they spelled my name wrongly. What happens?
That is why I actually encourage people to check their registration accuracy. There's a code that has been provided, star 197 hash. If you find your details are not accurately captured, please contact your service provider on the customer care line.
And how do I contact UCC?
In UCC, we've actually had a number of people contact us. We have a toll-free line. It's 08001 339 11. And you can call our customer care. It's free of charge. We have people who speak different languages. We have English, we have Uganda, we have Yoruba, we have Luo, and they can assist you in the language and direct you accordingly.
give us the number one more time, please.
It's 08001
Yes.
339 11.
All right, I think we've got that. How about these phone companies that send us messages we haven't asked for and then they charge us for them? What do we do about those?
If you complain to the operator, they should know and deal with you. They should deactivate you. If you find that you haven't gotten a satisfactory response from the operator, for example, you've requested to be unsubscribed and they have not unsubscribed you, you simply contact UCC on that number that I have provided you.
The toll-free number, yes.
If you have email access, you can write to ucc@ucc.co.ug.
Say that again, madam.
UCC
Yes.
at ucc.co.ug.
All right, that's pretty simple, I believe. Talk to us about UCC. What else do you do apart from registering these SIM cards? When you're not registering SIM cards, what do you do?
We do actually have a number of actions. UCC is responsible for the licensing of telecommunications operators, postal operators, like courier operators, and even the broadcasters. We also issue the broadcasters. We are also the organization that manages the spectrum on behalf of Uganda. Spectrum in terms of the frequencies on which our radio stations operate, on which our wireless networks all operate. UCC does that. We also look out for the consumer in terms of ensuring that the consumer is protected, quality of service, prices that are charged by operators, that you get good equipment coming in, protecting it. You probably have heard of a counterfeit or fake phone project. It's all aimed at ensuring that the consumer is protected and enjoys the communication services provided to them.
So talk to us about fake mobile phones. What happens with those and what's your position on them? Counterfeit mobile phones.
What we are saying is we are looking out. For a long time we have all been complaining about the quality of service that operators offer. And one of the things that has been identified as causing a problem or a challenge to operators is the way some of the phones operate, because they are not manufactured based on the standards that are required for those mobile phones. They engage the networks and affect the quality of service of those networks.
And
This has been found to impact the operators. Then, people always fear about dangers, or you've heard of people who say phones overheat and the battery can explode. This is normally common in substandard phones. So we're saying we do not want our consumers ripped off. We are promoting and saying there's still a stop to bringing of fake phones in Uganda. We're working with the operators, we're working with the vendors, we're working with URA, UNBS to ensure that Uganda is free from all substandard fake phones and the counterfeit phones.
all right, but talk to us briefly about this shift from the digital to from analog to digital, Michael, on television. Very briefly. Then we can hear from some other questions that came in before.
Okay. Digital migration, digital analog to digital migration project stems from an international decision that was made under the UN agency responsible for telecommunications. It's called the International Telecommunications Union. And at this body, it was decided that internationally there will be analog to digital migration, meaning that we're going to change from analog broadcasting of television to digital broadcasting
answered. Suppose somebody asked earlier, Patrick in Mbale, suppose you send your money to the wrong number, mobile money, very good, what happened?
Now that is where SIM card registration is actually going to assist us. Because then you can quickly contact as soon as you notice that you have sent the money to the wrong number, you are required to get in touch immediately with the operator and inform them.
Somebody also said,
They are able
okay.
to deactivate the other side or at least contact the other party to ensure that your money is recovered.
All right. Joe also asked that he registered and he got an acknowledgement, but then it turns out that when they're acknowledging the registration, he said there's no star 197 hash. They gave him the details of another man.
Yes, now those are the cases that I encourage them to call the customer care line with their respective operator and they will sort it out for them.
So you can't get an acknowledgement until you've sent the star 197 hash.
Yes. For some operators, they have no access to such that immediately your details are entered into the database, you'll get an acknowledgement. But for some people who register, they may not have gotten that. So if you check 197 hash, you'll be able to get that.
There was concern that government wants to control individuals. Is that using the system? Is that accurate or is it not?
No, it is not accurate. It is just to make sure that our services are secure and that is not safe and access to the consumer.
And what happens when your phone is stolen? It could be misused by a robber or some other person.
Immediately your phone is stolen, immediately you notice that your phone is stolen, it is important to report to the nearest police station. Because once you have reported, then we start record to show that you no longer had that number and the system will be able to track where the number is.
And when someone misses the deadline, or if someone buys a new phone line after the deadline has passed, what happens?
So any new phone after the deadline, even the new phone that you buy today, you should be able to get registered. So henceforth, you will not be able to buy a new number without getting registered.
Mo-
Come and requirement that henceforth, to have a number in Uganda, you will need to have registration. And this practice actually in many of the developing countries, we also come with just those notices.
Moses asked a question. Pending registrations. Normally, when you register, they give you time. They say you can get the confirmation about 2 weeks later. Suppose one registers now, we have less than 2 weeks. What happens with that pending registration?
That has normally been the concern persons who register way out of Kampala in terms of getting their details over. But that has already been provided for to ensure that those persons who have registered in such circumstances are not given access. If you notice, some registration centers may be telling you if you really want to just send you only access to by a certain date. It is to facilitate them to ensure that the information is gathered by that date.
Bobby Nakawa asked the question. Calls that have not been completed, being paid for. What do you do with it?
Now, if the call is not completed, and actually there is proof that that was a dropped call, you may have had that in December, Uganda Communications Commission developed quality of service as statutory instrument on quality of service, and it is really to provide for us to start penalizing operators for poor quality of service. So unfortunately, as an individual, when you complain, I may not be able to track and make sure that you get repaid. But for most operators, if you actually lodge a complaint, they are able to track and will advise you if it is noted that indeed you were wrongfully billed for a call that did not take place, you are normally reimbursed. When you contact the customer care, if you're not satisfied with the explanation given, again I encourage you to use the options I mentioned available for users.
There's a toll-free number.
Customer care.
All right, we'll read that number out before we go. But before we get to that, William was asking the question, one SIM card for all networks. Is that a reality, a possibility in the future? That one be able to get one network that serves on different networks. Is that something that could happen
One
soon?
SIM card that is able to serve with different networks.
Well, let's talk about number mobility.
And that's not exactly the portability. But today,
Portability.
one SIM card that is used on all networks does not exist. But possibly, with the way technology is going, it might become a reality tomorrow. In terms of number portability is being able to use my number, not my SIM, but my number on another network. So I check
we have to go. Of course, somebody said that some telecom companies send pornographic messages, and he doesn't like that. Another caller said, he travels. That's why he travels, and when he comes back, his airtime has been wiped out, 20,000 sometimes.
I encourage all those to follow up the operator's complaint.
All right.
If you're not satisfied with the answer, that's what you're thinking.
And UCC, the toll-free number before we go.
08001 33911.
And the email address.
ucc@ucc.co.ug.
Thank you very much indeed, Miss Irene Kagwa, Head of Research at the Uganda Communications Commission. Irene Kagwa, say one camera, so that gate is open when you get home. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond Kizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next is the news in English.
My greatest music hit of all time? The first time I heard the electric guitar on my father's record player.